Hey everyone, welcome back to our Finwealth podcast channel. We have our guest here today, Mr. Max Ng, who is a licensed financial planner in Finwealth Management, and he is also the managing director of Finwealth Management. And I'm proud to say that he has been in the financial industry for more than 2 decades. Let us get straight into it. Max, can you briefly explain to us how is the current landscape in the financial planning industry?
The current financial planning landscape, the way I look at it is everybody plays a role in the client's life stage, right? For example, when I first started working, I actually bought my first policy through a life insurance agent. And without that policy, then I wouldn't even have any coverage, right? But as a person grows older and he starts to earn more money, right? Or start to raise a family, get married and raise a family, the needs change, right? And that's what I felt when I went through that life stage. I realized that my clients' needs also change, and they also require more advice in other areas of their personal finance. Hence why the journey to become a financial planner came into the picture. Having said that, my aha moment came when I took the CFP certificate, right? That's where I realized there's a lot more value that we can provide to our clients. Not just insurance, not just investment, but more than that. So when we talk about the landscape, I think there is a difference between the advice that people give on products and financial advice.
Right. So coming back to this topic, right, when we are saying that you turn from a product advice to a more holistic kind of a financial advice, so being the last time, if I'm not mistaken, you were one of the youngest group agency manager back in some of the unit trust company, and now you have transformed into a fully licensed financial planner. So can you elaborate more on this one?
Oh, okay. So this was quite some time back already. So I started off my career in audit in 2 out of the big 4 audit firms, and in 2003 I actually started my career in one of the largest unit trust company in Malaysia, and it took me a few years to become a group agency manager. But I felt that when I hit that milestone, it didn't really feel like a big accomplishment, because I still felt that there's really more thing that I can help the client with, but my hands were tied, right? In an agency system, I think that's where we have to make a choice, right? And my choice was to remove myself from an environment that doesn't help me create more value to my clients. So what I mean by choice is that I always believe that the way that a person is compensated will really drive the behavior of a person. So in Finwealth, the way that our compensation is structured is that we really want to drive the right behaviors. And hence why when earlier I talked about the difference between product advice and financial advice, is that you cannot remove a conflict of interest completely, but you can minimize the conflict of interest. And how we do that here is that we have a fee-based service where we actually charge a fee to provide a financial planning service to our clients.
Since just now you mentioned about insurance, right? Can you elaborate more about it?
So for us, because we are licensed under Bank Negara, we actually don't represent the insurance company directly. We represent our clients.
Does that mean you are kind of unbiased in that situation?
Yes, because we actually understand client situation and then analyze their needs before we recommend any solution to them. The way we provide insurance advice is because we are not actually representing the insurance company directly. We actually work with a panel of insurance providers, and therefore we are actually representing the client to source for the most suitable product for them.
Yeah, and I'm just curious, right? Since you mentioned you are not tied to any insurance company, but then again, you will still be able to provide the insurance product, also co-distribute the product from all these different insurance companies, right? I'm just curious, is there a so-called KPI from these insurance companies for you to achieve?
No, for financial advisors, there are not supposed to be any targets set for financial advisor firms. Hence, the objective of this license is actually to help clients make better informed decisions. And in order to make informed decision, you need to be able to talk to someone that is able to understand your needs and to provide the best solution based on those needs. Yeah.
I see. So that is how this unbiased thing is able to come in.
One of the main objectives of being a financial advisor is that you want to take yourself out of that so-called perceived biasness, right? That because if you are only representing one company, then there is always going to be a potential conflict of interest that your advice will be biased, right? So in order to avoid being biased, we have to be in an environment that allows us to be neutral and to really serve the client's best interest.
I see. Yeah. So still talking about back to insurance topic, right? Because I realize most of the people out there, if they want to become one of the distributor of this insurance company, they will have to take an exam called the CLE or PCE, right? So in order to become a financial advisor, right, do they have to take such exams?
There are requirements needed if you want to become a representative of a financial advisor firm. One of which is, or rather, there are a few certification needed for a person to complete first, which is the Module 1, Module 2, Module 3 of the CFP or the RFP. And if it's Islamic, then it will be the Module 1, 2, 3 of the Sharia RFP or the Islamic FP, the IFP.
So these are offered by some of the education provider in the industry.
Under RFP is under MFPC and CFP is under FPAM.
I see.
And that is only qualification alone, right? For us to call ourselves a financial advisor representative, we have to join or be under a licensed company. Finwealth is a licensed company under SE and Bank Negara. So if a person wants to provide financial planning and advisory service, that person has to be regulated, and they have to be regulated under a licensed company. So we have to actually go through that. They have to go through the application process to apply to be a financial planner under SE and under Bank Negara.
So there are actually two regulating bodies here.
Currently, yes. We are hoping for a single licensing.
Okay. Yeah. So talking about the financial planning industry, right? So I understand the challenges of becoming a licensed financial planner this day, and it's quite challenging for the layman to understand what financial planning is. So what more about? Let's talk about when you transform from agent to a licensed financial planner, right? Was it difficult back then? Was it more difficult than today?
I took that step to leave the agency, and it was a big step, right? I had to make sacrifices, but for me, I felt that it's something that I needed to do, right? Because I needed to really help my clients make better financial decisions, and somehow I just felt stuck that I couldn't do it where I was, right? So I made the decision to first to go and take the necessary steps to study to go and learn, right? Or rather upgrade myself to a better platform and a better practice, right? Because at the end of the day, I actually felt what I did was right is because when I shared the story or when I shared this with my clients, they said this is something that you should pursue because this is the right thing to do, and that actually kept me going, and really kept me going until now. Yeah.
I see. So can you elaborate a bit more on the benefits of becoming a licensed financial planner since you have been in this line for so many years already?
So no one is going to be, or rather be an expert in everything, right? So an advisory firm that is providing financial planning and advisory service has to first have the right culture, have the right direction, right? And when you set the direction that you want to practice financial planning, and then you will figure out how to, or what are the things that you need to do to provide a financial planning service. So for us, that's where our direction that we started, and today we are actually providing a fee-based service. Otherwise, there's a big question mark, right? If we want to provide advice, but we have to sell a product to give advice. So then that's where the conflict of interest comes. So we are actually focusing on the advice itself. So hence why sometimes paying a fee is actually cheaper than being sold another product.
Yeah, and understand on what you're saying. Can you elaborate also a bit more on this fees? Is it very expensive?
I wouldn't say that it's expensive. In fact, it's actually very affordable. And I would say it all comes down to the value that we provide, right? Sometimes it is helping client avoid making the financial mistakes, right? Which will set them back for many, many years. So is that avoiding that all the financial blind spots.
I see. So since you talk about some of the benefits of becoming a licensed financial planner, right? Can you also talk about some of the challenges of becoming a licensed financial planner?
I think one of the challenges for a financial planner who wants to practice is not getting enough support, right? Especially when you are expected to provide a financial planning service. If you have to do everything yourself, it's going to be very challenging when the client engages you for a financial planning service, and then you have to take time to prepare a financial plan and prepare the recommendations, right? So it's very important to have support in terms of RR planning support, right? And in terms of the product solutioning.
Yeah, so just by hearing, if I'm going to do that, all the financial planning from A to Z alone, I can feel like it is a very tedious process.
It is because if you don't have a para planning team to analyze the plan and develop the financial plan, and you don't have a team to analyze the products in the market, then a lot of your time will be spent not really, in front of the client or understanding the client situation. A lot of your time will be actually doing paperwork or the administrative work of things.
Yeah, I believe this is one of the industry challenges as well. Yes, since you have been in both industry, right? The agency, the unit trust industry and also this financial planning industry. Can you elaborate a bit more about this? What are some of the biggest difference between these two industries?
Well, I guess the biggest difference is that previously in agency, it was really more of you are in a selling culture, right? Everything is all based on sales. When we are in financial planning, I would say that the biggest difference is that we are on advisory, right? It's a very client centric approach. And before we actually recommend any solution, the solution can be don't buy more insurance, or or rather, don't take too high risk. We actually spend more time understanding client situation, analyzing what are the different scenarios and what are different action plans that the client can take, right? And then more importantly, not just coming up with a thick financial plan, but also to help client throughout the journey to implement the plan.
I see. So just now you also mentioned about this fee-based kind of a structure, right? Can you talk more about this one? Because since you mentioned about client-centric and also collecting a fees for this financial advisory, can you elaborate more on this one?
earlier I mentioned about a selling culture. Selling culture is more of you sell a product and then you move on to the next, right? To a client and then you move on to the next. There's not much focus to so-called, I would say, look after the client. Or if you're talking about investment, there's not much focus to really help the client minimize risk and grow their investment in a safe and secure way, right? So that's why there was a problem in the industry before. You have this thing called churning, where you have the practice of people, selling off and then coming in again, and then you get charged another round of service charge. So that's just one example. So we try to we basically remove that problem when we are providing a retainer, right? So that our interest is aligned with the client's interest. So if we don't take care of the money well, if the client lose a lot of money, it will affect our income as well.
So can you tell us more about the vision and mission of Finwealth?
We aim to provide a holistic advisory experience for all our clients. And what that means is that, all our advisors have to be trained, have to be competent in understanding clients' needs and helping clients look at their financial situation from all angles, from different perspectives, right? And you can imagine if we are just going with one perspective, there may be blind spots that the client may miss out. Hence why we really feel that having a holistic view is very important. Otherwise, you may not make the best financial decision.
Actually, what do you mean by this having a holistic view? Because if let's say today I'm just going to engage an insurance agent for insurance services, insurance planning services, and then I go and approach another unit trust agent or even an estate planning agent, then I could really get covered on all this area already. Yeah, is there a difference between these?
Well, you're right. You can call that financial planning as well, right? But for us, having a holistic view is before we recommend any advice, we actually gather the data, find out more about what your needs are when it comes to your risk management, what are your needs are when it comes to achieving your financial goals. And because everyone has limited resources, right? So then you need to optimize your resources, and that's where we look at risk management. We look at your accumulation, on how you accumulate for your financial goals, for your retirement, for your child's education planning, as well as from an estate planning perspective. If you deal with three different people, or rather three different parties, they may only look at it from their respective.
So you're saying they're not interacting with each other, right? They're not communicating.
They may
with each other.
They may not look at it from a big picture view, right? Because you will only give certain information to your insurance agent. You may only give some information to your unit trust agent. When you meet a financial planner, you establish a relationship, right? Whereby you engage a financial planner to look into your numbers, to help you plan and give you the visibility of what might happen if today something happens to you, right? Or if today you lose a job, you can't work, do you have the risk management in place? And do you have the funds in place, right? So we always talk about holistic is because financial planners actually gather the information to help you see the future you. You already know your current you, right?
Yes.
Because you're earning this much, you're spending this much. We call it your lifestyle. But not many people know how their lifestyle is going to impact and affect them in the next 20, 30 years when they retire or when they expire, right? So having a financial planning service helps them understand their future wealth and help them plan better and avoid financial mistakes.
I like how you are phrasing the words when they are expired. So does that mean the clients pass away?
Pass away, right? What kind of legacy? If today I tell you, hey, if you think your retirement fund is enough, most of the clients that we help when we do the plan for them, a lot of them, because you see, most people when they calculate their retirement fund, they think their EPF is enough, right? But most may also neglect the fact that inflation plays a very big factor that affects their purchasing value. So when you put inflation in the picture, then you can see that their wealth will finish even before. Typically, we will plan for clients up to age 85. So sometimes we see their wealth actually finish or ends by probably 70 or even earlier, 75 or even 70. Because again, it's a matter of whether they know what they're doing now, how it impacts their future.
So
So if you know how your financial decisions today impact your future, then at least you have time to plan, right? And you can have time to plan. Hey, I want a good retirement. I want a comfortable retirement, or you want your to achieve your goals. Planning early helps because then you don't have to. It gives you a peace of mind, knowing that you can achieve your goals. And if you know that you can't achieve your goals, then you can make the adjustments now, right? So that kind of advice does not involve buying more products.
is it something when you talk about this line of so-called projecting the return and inflation, right? Just now you mentioned, is it something that the clients or the financial planner can see?
Yeah, they can see. We call it a wealth chart, right? Our financial plan actually calculates based on the assumptions, based on the financial model, and the client actually can see, right, how their actions today impact their tomorrow.
I see. Then I think this kind of benefits or so-called service will be suitable actually for everyone, since you mentioned some of the fees is quite affordable, right?
By right, everyone needs a financial plan. It's whether or not you start off, when you're young, you start off with a simple plan, or you need a holistic plan.
Thank you, Max. Yes, I believe that is all the time we have for today. Yes, thanks, Max, and thank you for giving us such a detailed insight on how the financial industry works and what are some of its challenges and benefits, right, in Malaysia. I definitely feel that this is an industry that is solely needed in Malaysia, no matter poor or they are rich, right? Yeah. So if you enjoy watching our videos, please give us a like and subscribe or follow our page, right? Thanks.